Hello, I'm Len, welcome to Thrifty Tones. If you'd told me 6 months ago when I started my YouTube channel I'd be doing a video about a guitar shaped like this, I'd have thought you were absolutely crazy, because I never used to play guitars like this. I am a Superstrat fanatic. All the guitars in my collection are just, variations of the same thing really. Stratocaster shapes, loads of Floyd Roses, humbuckers at the bridge, good single coil sounds. One of my mates once said your guitar collection is just the same thing in different colours, just repeated, which is a fair point. And when I used to look at guitars like this, which is obviously a Jackson Rhoads model, I used to think they look so cool, but whoever plays that is kind of compromising. This is a guitar for metal posers. I couldn't have been more wrong, and in this video I'll explain why. So this guitar I got a few months ago, and it's changed everything about my perception of guitars, particularly metal guitars and sort of pointy instruments. Guitars I would never have gone near years ago, just based on sort of comfort and body contours and stuff like that. Just for information, this video is really about the Rhoads model in general, but this one in particular is a made in Japan 2008 Pro Series RR3 model. So this one came with the Seymour Duncans because it's a 2008 model. I think Jackson upgraded them from Duncan design in 2006 to proper Seymour Duncans. So it's got a JB in the bridge and a Jazz in the neck. It's got the JT580 LP, which on this channel we're big fans of. That's a really, really good tremolo. I've not upgraded anything on it. It doesn't need any upgrades. All I've done is put the pushing arm, which you might have seen in the last video. Apart from that, it's all completely stock. It's absolutely brilliant. When I first picked up this guitar, I got it really cheap. It had a bit of damage at the horn, which I've kind of fixed. Don't look too close at that, but I just thought it's going to get hit again at some point, isn't it? And yeah, so this guitar has changed everything for me in terms of the perception of what I look for in a guitar. I mean, I'm in my 40s and I'm just discovering instruments shaped like this. Feels a bit like a midlife crisis, I suppose. But this guitar is just, as soon as I played it, I was like, oh wow. It was kind of my first experience of playing a Rhoads shape, the sort of V shape, any V-shaped guitar really. I think I played a King V years ago and sort of forgot about it, but it was just a moment when I picked this up and when I first plugged it in and played it. I didn't have high expectations for it in terms of the shape and everything. It doesn't sort of wrap around your body like a Superstrat does, but oh my goodness, it just fits. It just fits me so comfortably, this instrument. It sounds brilliant, it plays brilliantly. This has become one of my favourite guitars within the last couple of months. So why on earth would people who play Superstrats go for something like this? Why would they not be dismissive of it and think, oh, it's just for metal posers? Well, firstly, I think the Rhoads is quite an ergonomic design. I think it wraps around your body pretty well, which seems ridiculous when you see the shape of it. However, there's something I just didn't realise with these until I actually stood up and played one with a guitar strap around my body, is this kind of edge you've got here. Now, I don't know if Randy Rhoads came up with this himself or Grover Jackson came up with this sort of like beveled kind of edge that you've got to it. So if you see that there, if you've never played a Rhoads before, it's not sharp on the edge, it flattens here and it's sort of, it has this kind of like bevel to it. And straight away I was like, oh my goodness, I never knew that about this. It always looked like such a pointy, sharp instrument. But straight away that bevel for me, it probably was one of the reasons why I can't get on with a Telecaster, is because it doesn't really have that. It's just a block of wood, or a Les Paul is kind of sharp there on the edge of it. I don't like that feeling of my arm resting on that. It doesn't feel contoured in any way. But if you play Superstrats or you play Stratocasters, You probably like this just based on the fact that your arm is resting on something that's kind of ergonomic and shaped to you. So it's a really small design thing, but I think it makes an absolutely massive difference. You know, so the Rhoads really is a dead comfortable guitar to play, particularly standing up, I think. And a lot of it is down to this bevel. You know, it is a sort of nod to ergonomic kind of design around the human body. It's so cool. You've got these two horns that sort of are at the bottom of the Rhoads. Now the King V is sort of similar in that the points are the same sort of distance with them. Now, one of the things as well about the Rhoads is that because you've got kind of this shorter point here on the body and you've got the longer one here, it means that the guitar is really comfortable to play sat down. You know, so if you sat down playing it, it sort of sits like that. Now the neck is quite low when you're doing that, okay, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of comfortable. You know, it sort of like just stays where it is. I don't need to grab onto the guitar or anything like that. Okay, so as well as that bevel, you've also got quite a long kind of what I'll call like a landing strip here for your arm to rest on. I recently sold a guitar. It was a Kramer Striker 300, and I love the shape of those guitars. I've always been really interested in them, and I got one for a really short period of time. I did a video about it actually, but the lighting wasn't very good in the video, so I got rid of it. But if you look at a Kramer 300 ST, there's a very short sort of landing space here for your arm to go on, and I found I couldn't do certain techniques with the Rhoads shape. You've got that really, really big platform to rest your arm on, so you can sort of see why the Rhoads models and the King V as well, the Jackson King V, very similar sort of shape to this, why they really took off with metal heads and people doing quite complex riffing. There was a lot of arm space to rest your arm here. You've got that bevel as well, so it really suits kind of heavy percussive riffing because, you know, it's just got a lot of landing space for you to kind of chug away on, just sort of resting your arm against the body. One thing I found that was really, really strange about the Rhoads, and I didn't think this would be the case, more so than any other guitar, I think you sort of play it with your whole body, which sounds really, really strange, but let me explain. If you look at footage of Kirk Hammett playing his Rhoads model, he's digging the bottom horn into his thigh, right? And one of the reasons I think players do this, and I've read this a lot from players who play the Rhoads model, they will dig the guitar into their body, and you'll often see them with their sort of their leg, their right leg, if they're right-handed, sort of forward as they play. So the guitar kind of digs in, even if they're stood up, right? So if you stand in, it kind of digs into you there, and what happens is the guitar kind of fixes into like a position. It kind of doesn't move at all. I've read people say that they've been in, like, you know, I don't have much hair, but people who are in proper headbanging bands, they'll lock it in like that, so they'll push it into their thigh and they can just kind of rock out with the hair sort of like, you know, going all over the place, and the guitar just is static, it doesn't move. It's kind of like your whole body is kind of like clenched around the instrument in a really cool way. It like connects with the guitar. I mean, that's why we play guitar, right? To connect with it and sort of produce this brilliant music with it. And the Rhoads does that so well. I didn't realise this. There's other players as well. Obviously, Alexi Lau from Children of Bodom, he holds his in a really different kind of way. You know, he'll sort of have it off his left leg. You know, when he solos and holds it up there. You can control the instrument as well. Sometimes I'll sort of raise my leg to kind of move the guitar around. Like I say, you're playing it with your whole body. It really, really does sort of dig into you in a really cool kind of way, and you sort of wrap around it. I love that about the Rhoads. Would never have thought that. Now, in terms of the design as well, and this goes for all V shapes, one of the things I really love about it too, it's really good for heavy riffing, like we say. You know, we've already said that, we've got that sort of platform there for sort of chugging away. I play a lot of Metallica and Megadeth stuff on this. As soon as I pick this up, I play Holy Wars most of the time. It's my first sort of riff that I go to with this guitar. However, it's not just a chug fest, this instrument. It's really good for shredding, and it's really good for lead playing in general, actually. Because one thing I've realised with V-shaped guitars and the Rhoads model, the King V, the Flying V, whatever, the Arrow from ESP, is the access to sort of the 12th fret and above. It's kind of just there when you play. The guitar sits in a way where it sort of goes off to the left a little bit more. So you might find that the first fret is maybe a bit further away from your body, but what that means is that the 12th fret is just kind of right there as you play. It's hard to explain it really, but it's almost like the body does just all go that way. There's no sort of like upper horn to the instrument like a Stratocaster or a Tele. Everything's just going that way, so you just have this real connection with the neck. It's right there, in front of you. So it's really, really good for shredding. It's brilliant for upper access. This is an RR3, so it's got a bolt-on neck, big old bolt here. There's no, Jackson haven't done any cutaways or anything here to sort of ease that off. But it doesn't matter. Look how high up I am there. It's very easy to just sort of fret notes there. That's really, really straightforward. So upper access is just unquestionably good. Again, better than so many of the traditional guitar models that we talk about loads. Last thing I would say about the Rhoads as well is the neck shape is different. It's really, really different, and this is a really cool thing I think Jackson have done for years and years and years now. Now obviously there might be some different models of course where this isn't the case, but the Rhoads neck shape is slightly different to things like the Dinky. It's a little bit more rounded. They almost try and keep it to Randy Rhoads' original specification. I've not spoken much about Randy Rhoads in this video actually, have I? I suppose the Rhoads model's kind of transcended even him. Lots of players who play these now are not necessarily obviously influenced by Randy Rhoads, but they've kept his neck profile on the guitar and it's absolutely brilliant. This is going to sound really crazy. I think loads of blues players would actually love this neck. It's not really, really fat. It's definitely not super slim like an Ibanez. It's just this gorgeous kind of in-between feel, but at the same time really, really inspiring. It's got massive jumbo frets on it. It's just really cool for like, a bit of BB King kind of vibrato playing. Like it really does sort of like suit that style of kind of playing, Definitely, you get this out at a blues night, a local blues night, it's sort of, turn up and play a guitar like this, you're going to sort of turn heads, aren't you? But yeah, it's more than just a chug fest, this, I think. I think there's a lot of musicality to be had with it. And last thing I love about the Rhoads, I would say, is the sound of it. This body is a massive old stretch of wood, it's absolutely huge. If you ever played like a Dean ML guitar, they're like a big double glazed window. They're a huge, huge thing. And that gives you tone, that gives you a different sort of sound. It makes it different from Superstrat style guitars because you've just got so much more wood here. And I love the sound of this. It's absolutely huge. The JB pickup that they use here, I used to have that on an old guitar. Goodness knows why I got rid of it, because I'm absolutely falling in love with it again on this. This is my only JB and Jazz loaded guitar now, and I absolutely love that pickup. I think Jackson do something crazy with the tone pot as well in terms of taking some of the shrill edge off it. It just sounds so good in this guitar. This is the best JB sounding loaded guitar I've ever played. It really is cool. So I just feel like my world has just completely opened up in terms of what guitars I actually like now. I'm now spending all my time looking at used Rhoads models online. I never used to even pay a passing interest in them. I literally bought this guitar because it was so cheap, and it's just changed everything. I'm a guitar player in my 40s. You don't make the same mistake as me. If you think a guitar looks cool, try your best, and I know this is hard with guitar shops closing left, right and centre across the world, but try your best to get your hands on one, because I really wish I'd have played a Rhoads model absolutely years ago. I'd have had one of these in my collection, or maybe 2 or 3 in my collection for the rest of my life once I played it. It's a really, really unique experience. Also, another thing to note, if you're a Strat player too, you're probably used to that 25.5-inch scale length, or a Telecaster player or whatever. For me, I don't find the two sort of scale lengths, the main ones, Fender and Gibson. The 25.5-inch is my scale length. I can't really change my guitar playing or the way I think to go for the short scale length. I know loads of guitar players disagree with that, but the Jackson Rhoads and the King V, and I think the Warrior and I think the Kelly as well, they all have that 25.5-inch scale length. So again, it's easier to make that switch towards it. So yeah, if you're into Superstrats, if you're into traditional Fenders, you've always wanted to try a Rhoads, oh my goodness, you've got to get your hands on one like this. It's just absolutely incredible. So now I've tried the Rhoads and I've just absolutely got the bug for it. You know, I feel like I've joined like the sort of cool kids crew now, even though I'm in my 40s. You know, I've joined the Cobra Guy or something. What next? Well, I think I might get another one. I think I might get another Rhoads. You know, I'm selling a Telecaster. I can see people just in the comments going, "What are you doing buying these crazy pointy guitars?" But you know, it's a midlife crisis, isn't it? I'm selling a Telecaster that I've got, that I've sort of, you know, really, really loved, or I'm passing a Telecaster on. I'm lending it to someone, long-term loan. I'm getting rid of a Telly, and I'm maybe going to get another Rhoads model. I might get a King V actually, to sort of complement this, because you know, this is very Megadeth, this guitar, but it's not quite Megadeth enough for me. It needs to be a King V, doesn't it, to be truly Megadeth, I think. So yeah, I'm really, really looking into it, because you know, I'm a guy who plays stood up all the time. I sit down in all my videos, but when I'm actually practicing, I'm stood up most of the time. I do like to stand up when I play, and it's just, the Rhoads is just such a brilliant, balanced, comfortable, wonderful playing experience. And I'd like to see if the V is as well. I've heard people say the Rhoads is much better sat down because you've got that sort of lower point to it at the bottom. But I don't really care too much about that, you know, because like I say, I stand up a lot when I play, so I'd love to try a King V next. I really want to try one. In fact, I know someone who's got one, so I might have a go on it and see how it feels. But honestly, man, Jackson, early 2000s stuff, it just is brilliant. It's absolutely incredible what they were doing from that factory back then, before everything went crazy in Japan in terms of the pricing of guitars. This is definitely staying. I don't think this is a honeymoon period. I know people might think this is just me, you know, waxing lyrical about my new guitar. It's been a few months now, and this is the one I'm picking up every day pretty much and playing. You know, this is my sort of my really comfortable ergonomic metal guitar, which I'm just absolutely in love with. So if you've got even a passing interest in the Rhoads model, I would really recommend, if you can. I mean, I know guitar shops are closing left, right and centre across the world. If you can get your hands on one and try one, particularly with a guitar strap, you know, particularly stood up, go for it. Honestly, if you like Superstrats, it sounds crazy, but honestly, if you like Superstrat sort of style guitars, I can see people really converting to this for the sort of metal pointy instrument, you know, something different in their collection. They're just really, really cool. There's a reason why the Rhoads model is, you know, Jackson's iconic, most popular one. You know, millions and millions of guitar players cannot be wrong. You know, they've got it right. They're not metal posers. This thing is so brilliant to play. It plays like butter. It's unbelievable. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. If you have converted to a Rhoads or a King V or a pointy guitar, a Warrior perhaps, or something like that, coming from Superstrats, please do let me know about it in the comments. I love talking to guitar players about this stuff. You know, it can't just be me that's had this like epiphany where I've realised that these guitars are really, really cool. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Do hit the bell notification for future videos. All the best. See you soon.